Hello there. I'm back again making a video on energy and frequency. And I'm not going to get too technical. I'm just going to bounce thoughts out of my head onto the screen, whatever. But energy and frequency. And there's all these varying levels and degrees and topics that we could discuss, but I'm just going to say what comes to mind. So one day I was at work and I was playing some music and it was kind of pumping, not too loud, like a moderate volume. And while I was listening to the music, I was drinking my water. And in between sips, I would pause and I would hold this bottle of water in my hand. And in that moment, I realized I could feel the water vibrating. And I'm like, oh my God, it's amazing. Like how the sound travels and can affect the water. But what made it even more amazing was I could experience it firsthand because it was in my hand. Get it? But anyways, I was like, oh my God, that's so intriguing. And, I've read up stuff on water experiments by Masaru Inomoto and how sound and words, which is a type of energy or frequency, can affect water. So basically, if you're not familiar with this experiment, basically, I'm not going to get too technical about it. He put some water in one room, some water in another room, and in the first room, say he had people say positive affirmations to the water, like, I love you, you're so great, I love you, you're wonderful. And they did this for some expensive time. And on the opposite spectrum, in this room, he had people tell the water, I hate you, you're ugly, you're worthless. Like basically words that I would consider low frequency. So anything that brings you down, I feel is a lower frequency. Anything that brings you up is a higher frequency. So in this room, you had people telling the water molecules, loving and uplifting things. And when they, I guess, looked at the water after a certain amount of time, the water crystallized into beautiful shapes and formations, like snowflakes and all these geometrical patterns. Then, in the same respect, they went to look at the other water that was being exposed to low frequency language, vibration, frequency, and it looked diseased. It looked like sick. It looked really bad. And if you think about it, we are made up of, I don't know what it is. I'm 80%, 90% water. I do realize that I don't have my facts in mind, but I do understand the concept and the relationship between the concepts. And that's all that really matters to me, because I think that to some extent, information is overrated. When you give too much power to it, I don't know. I don't know how to explain that. But whatever. Back to the water. Back to us that drink the water. Yeah, so sound. Sound affects us. And I think sound on a physical level, sound on a subtle level, which is your thoughts, what goes on through your head, on a mental, emotional level, more subtle level that is not necessarily seen in its physical form. So all of these vibrations and frequencies are indeed affecting the reality of you and the reality of things around you. I also came across a really interesting book, The Language Codes. It's really amazing, and it's so simple. Look at that. It's just like really simple reading. Like You could probably like sit in the toilet and read it in like 10 minutes. Or not, just, everybody is different. If it piques your interest, of course you'd read it. If it didn't, you probably just like skim through it and put it down. Some people read faster than others, so you have to take these things into consideration. But anyway, the language codes. Basically, this guy, R. Neville Johnston, basically goes kind of into detail about how language, words in general, affect patterning. So really brief. I'm just going to touch really briefly. Well, I don't know if it's going to be brief, because then when I start reading, then I feel like I have to read on, because you might miss something essential in between if I don't tell you everything. But anyway, he goes over words of disempowerment, words that kind of keep us conditioned, and then he goes into words of empowerment, so positive patterning. So like words that will actually help lift you up and break through outdated thought systems that keep you stagnant. I don't know if I expressed that well. But yeah, so just an example, words of disempowerment would include should, for example. Whenever you say the word should, you have made yourself or someone else wrong. The word should implies that a belief system has been violated. That belief system is guilt. Yes, you could have done something differently. So what? Everything always works out perfectly anyway by stewing guilt. So basically remove should from your vocabulary. And then he'll go into detail as to why. Another one is wait and but. But I thought was pretty interesting. When used in a sentence, the word but takes back everything that preceded it. As in the infamous yes, but, as in I love you, but. Well, do you love me or don't you? This thought may be better phrased. I love you, and when you behave in this manner, it upsets me. So basically, I don't know, it goes on and on. I'm rambling right now, and I'm sure you're losing interest. But if you're interested in empowering or disempowering yourself through words, this is the book, people. Boom. Super easy reading, too. I love it. It's one of my favorites, and whenever I need a reminder, I will pick it off the bookshelf and I will read it again. Anyways, that's my thoughts, touching briefly on energy and frequencies and how it affects us and the reality around us. Something to think about, something to ponder. So anyways, if you have any questions or concerns, agreements or disagreements, please leave your comments below and we can discuss. Because when we discuss ideas, that's when I feel like we create opportunities to expand our mind and our consciousness, which is good. It contributes to the evolutionary process. Anyway, signing out. Peace.